Opening, the arrogance of the invaders. The Zirkle Dominion had ruled star systems for thousands of years. They were predators draped in ceremony, warriors who believed that conquest itself was a divine right. Their fleets carved the void with ships bristling like spears, and their legions burned entire colonies into ash when obedience faltered. When they came for humans, it was not with caution, it was with disdain. The attack began on Vera 7, a human colony settled along crimson valleys and blue ice rivers. The Zirkle flagship hung above the atmosphere, casting its shadow like a tombstone across cities below. Broadcasts blared across all channels. Your species has no place beyond its cradle. Submit, and perhaps your ruins will be remembered. No negotiation, no diplomacy. Cities were bombarded, orbital stations shattered, and thousands of civilians were slaughtered before a single distress signal reached Earth. The Zirkle generals boasted across their war councils, mocking human fragility. "They are soft," one said. "Their worlds are brittle. They cling to light gravity and thin air. When we crush their bones, the galaxy will laugh at their screams." They were confident, too confident. Tension built, mockery across the stars. For weeks, the galaxy's comnets rippled with Zirkle broadcasts. Their laughter was venomous, their cruelty deliberate. Clips of burning human colonies were shared across alien forums like trophies. Merchants in distant stations joked that humans should return to their mudball before their entire race was exterminated. One alien counselor sneered. "Humans are born in weakness. A species that builds fragile bones and weaker hearts has no right to expand. They will break beneath the pressure of real civilizations." What none of them understood was that silence from Earth was not weakness. It was waiting, calculating. The galaxy had not learned that when humans fell quiet, storms followed. The turning point, the silence breaks. It began with the sudden blackening of comms. Alien chatter about human weakness cut off in mid-sentence as every major hub station received the same cold transmission, a voice that carried no emotion, no mercy. "This is Earth Command. We heard your laughter, we received your broadcasts, we bury our dead in silence, but know this: gravity remembers, and so do we." Then came the mobilizations. Across Sol, shipyards lit up like suns reborn. Steel titans stirred from their docks, dreadnoughts with hulls heavier than moons, engines burning with the wrath of dying stars. War fleets emerged from the Uit and Kuiper belts, hidden reserves humanity had never revealed. In the silence, the galaxy realized Earth had not been idle. They had been building, preparing, waiting for the day the galaxy dared to test their patience. And now that day had come. Climax, the wrath of gravity. The Zirkle fleets met humanity's armada on the edges of Vera 7. They expected fragile ships, brittle armor, weak firepower. What they faced instead was gravity weaponry, an arsenal the galaxy had never seen. The first Zirkle battlecruiser didn't explode. It collapsed. Invisible fields rippled out from human dreadnoughts, artificial singularities, controlled gravity wells that could seize a ship mid-maneuver. Zirkle vessels twisted in space, their hulls crumpling like tin under impossible weight. Bridges shattered as crews screamed, their bones breaking inside their own bodies. One alien commander cried over comms. "They bend spacetime itself. Impossible. This technology is forbidden. No civilization survives such madness." But humanity had always lived under gravity's tyranny. They were born fighting weight. They were forged in pressure, in atmosphere, in endurance. While the galaxy dismissed it, humans studied it, weaponized it, made gravity a blade to wield. Wave after wave of Zirkle ships fell, torn apart not by fire but by pressure so immense their cores imploded into silence. Armies landing like storms. On the ground, it was no different. Human shock troops descended from orbit in drop pods sheathed in gravity shields. Alien fortresses that once stood for centuries cracked and folded as if the soil itself betrayed them. When humans advanced, the air grew heavy. Weapons jammed, metal strained, lungs collapsed. Zirkle warriors, proud conquerors of half the spiral arm, fell gasping, unable to even lift their blades under crushing force. A single human battalion moved through cities like storms of invisible weight. The aliens didn't see soldiers. They saw walking singularities, death given shape. One alien priest screamed, "They are not flesh. They are the collapse of stars in human skin." The galaxy watches in horror. As battles unfolded, the broadcasts returned. But this time, they were not of Zirkle laughter. They were of silence punctuated by screams. Alien ships begging for surrender before their hulls shattered. Planetary governors calling for mercy as human fleets blotted out their suns. And humanity did not answer. They did not boast. They did not explain. They crushed, they advanced, they annihilated. Every alien council that had mocked humanity now trembled. They had thought Earth fragile. Instead, they discovered Earth was a pressure cooker, a civilization that had grown under constant gravity, a species that had turned the universal law of weight into a weapon none could resist. Retribution without mercy. The final Zirkle stronghold was their capital fortress world, a citadel built into the mantle of a planet. They believed it impregnable, carved into the crust itself, protected by layers of rock thicker than oceans. Human fleets arrived, silent and vast. They didn't bombard, they didn't storm. They increased gravity. Planetary crusts cracked, mountains bent into valleys. Oceans climbed their own shores as tides multiplied 1,000-fold. The fortress collapsed under its own weight, its proud generals entombed by the very planet they trusted. The Zirkle dominion ended not with negotiation, but with crushing silence. Resolution, the whisper of dread. When the last broadcast ceased, the galaxy was left with nothing but silence. Trade stations dimmed their lights. Diplomatic halls closed their doors. Across countless systems, whispers replaced laughter. Do not provoke Earth. They fight with gravity itself. They waited in silence, then they crushed an empire. Survivors who had once mocked humanity now swore oaths never to speak against them. Children of alien species were told bedtime warnings. Never strike a human, never mock their silence, for when they return, the stars will grow heavy. The galaxy finally understood what the Zirkle never had. Humanity was not fragile. Humanity was the weight that bends everything. And their vengeance was infinite. Epilogue, the lesson of gravity. In the centuries that followed, monuments stood across alien worlds, not to their own heroes, but to the humans they feared. Carved into stone and steel was the reminder. Aliens never understood humans until gravity crushed them. The galaxy never laughed again.